Wherever Rosie O'Donnell's gone, she's probably eating a leprechaun. She's our hero of the day for leaving America if Trump won and relocating to Ireland, where she's still not funny. So many celebs say they're going to do it but never do. But does she have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Not a day has gone by that I thought it was the wrong decision. I was welcomed with open arms. I knew after reading Project 2025 that if Trump got in, it was time for me and my non-binary child to leave.
In a clash of half-baked takes and scorched comebacks, Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly just dragged Rosie O'Donnell into an intellectual brawl and left the filter at home. This wasn't a debate, it was a full-blown roast, plated with sarcasm and served hot, with Rosie as the unwilling entree. Gutfeld came in swinging with barbed humor, Kelly unloaded with cold, hard facts, and Rosie mostly brought confusion. If you thrive on chaos, shade, and watching someone get rhetorically dismantled, buckle up. This might be your new favorite. Disaster.
Gutfeld, join me now for Where Are They Now? Political Style. By the way, they never give you the real reason why they're leaving. Like Ellen DeGeneres says she was going to London because of Trump. No, it's because she was a monster and everybody hates her. That's the same thing with Rosie. You know why she's leaving, right? We know why she's leaving. Come on, we know. It's literally an ego trip. Once nobody likes you, you just leave.
The name Rosie O'Donnell used to reverberate around talk shows during the day, like a foghorn with a bad pitch. Loud, but never exactly on tune. Her profession? Imagine a roller coaster created by a group of clowns. Steep, drops, tumultuous curves, and that one person who didn't wear a seatbelt. That's the essence of Rosie. She would have more medals than Michael Phelps if self-importance were an Olympic sport. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though.
I haven't tortured you enough with clips from Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow. I decided I saw it, and so you had to as well. The following clip from Sex and the City, their latest sequel. I don't know.
I know what
track.
This is. Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Jashinsky, but it's happening. It's happening.
Oh, no.
For the listening audience, we are about to see Miranda, the character played by Cynthia Nixon, who is so annoying, in bed with a virgin nun played by Rosie O'Donnell. I just threw up a little in my mouth. Go ahead, roll it.
You are amazing. Oh, I have never experienced anything like that.
Ew. Oh my God. I'm so grossed out, Emily. You have to talk.
Rosie dominated daytime television. Do you recall? I will shout you into submission. Intensity and Martha Stewart charm, along with a dash of, did she really just say that on live television, led to her dominance. It was difficult to distinguish between an unscripted verbal cage match and a conversation show. She wasn't merely hosting, she was verbally sparring like a prize fighter with a lot of coffee, inspirational sayings, and no chill.
Apparently America couldn't be happier, but like I said, she's our hero of the day for doing what so many other celebs don't have the guts to do. Wow, first Ellen, now Rosie. Makes you wonder what lesbian will leave next.
Rosie then took her talents on the road. If by talents you mean her extraordinary ability to transform any venue into a personal soapbox of unrelenting fury, like a sequel no one requested. With all the nuance of a bull performing ballet in a china shop, she expressed her opinions on everything from politics to pop culture to your lunch order.
Betrays them. Not disclosing when you're in bed with somebody that you have herpes. It's important to disclose before you have interludes that you have the herpes virus. I'm sorry, Exhibit A. Here is Rosie O'Donnell bitching and moaning about her favorite person, Donald Trump. I think this is before she moved. I can't keep track of where she's living in the world to avoid him.
Enter Megyn Kelly and Gutfeld, two sardonic TV veterans with a knack for sarcasm and a skill for blowing up inflated egos, one scathing remark at a time. It is systematic, strangely fulfilling, and just cathartic enough to make you lean in for more as you watch them pursue Rosie. It's like seeing a precision tool disassemble a clumsy, rusted machine.
She came out later and told the world she has Donald Trump inflicted herpes from stress. And I wonder, Eliana, whether really there was a legal obligation there for her to disclose that to the character of Miranda.
I
have to say she seems to be in a lot worse condition than Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace in terms of fighting fascism or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't even have a response to that.
No, you can't. It's stomach turning.
See that?
It's too upsetting.
Anybody wanted
Donald
to see
Trump
that.
would never inflict herpes on Rosie O'Donnell. I think he's made that very.
Rosie's political commentary? It's a masterclass in confident confusion. She aims for activism but lands somewhere between performative outrage and a Wikipedia deep dive gone wrong. Listening to her is like watching someone play chess with nothing but pawns, then storm off when the queen doesn't obey house rules. There's a bizarre conviction in her voice, like every tweet is a manifesto, when really it's just noise wrapped in self-importance. Her social media activism is another spectacle entirely. Rosie doesn't just speak out, she broadcasts, as if decibel level equates to depth. If loudness and indignation were signs of wisdom, she'd be a Nobel laureate. But instead, her takes feel like they were ripped from a protest poster she barely read. It's less righteous passion and more like that one person at brunch who rants about climate change while ordering extra bacon, no self-awareness, all volume. And then there are the Twitter tirades, melodramatic, messy, and usually aimed at random trolls she elevates into villains. Picture a superhero movie where the hero's only power is yelling, and everyone else just mutes her. Her online persona doesn't invite debate. It repels it, drowning nuance in a flood of emojis, all caps, and moral grandstanding. In the end, Rosie isn't changing hearts, just cluttering timelines.
That she seems miserable, and it doesn't really matter where she goes. She's trying to get away from whatever is inside her, because I looked at her and I go like, wow, she has changed.
I mean, she's changed, but she's also the same. But I love that she deported herself because she's so upset about the illegals being deported. So she deported herself, which is good for her. But I don't know if she really did her homework because Ireland has a ton of illegals.
Yeah.
In fact, Ireland and the United States are both actually right up there. England's not doing much better. So Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell, I guess, are where they should be. But I love that they actually did go forward.
Then there's Rosie's signature shtick, dragging anyone with a pulse into her ongoing theater of drama. Ex-friends, B-list celebs, random Twitter users. No one escapes the gravitational pull of her grievances. What starts as a petty disagreement inevitably escalates into a Shakespearean betrayal saga, complete with sob stories, finger-pointing, and self-appointed martyrdom. It's the kind of narrative that could fuel a daytime soap opera for years. And yet, she seems blissfully unaware that sympathy has a shelf life. And hers expired several scandals ago. Because when you're always the victim, people eventually start asking if maybe you're the common denominator. Enter Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly. Their takedown wasn't just a roast, it was a public service, a lesson in what happens when unchecked ego meets sharp analysis. Their style, a cocktail of wit, precision, and devastating clarity. They didn't just critique Rosie. They dismantled her, layer by blustering layer, until all that remained was a hollow performance and a Twitter account on overdrive. Rosie's counterpunch, likely a rambling live stream, or another all-caps rant about media conspiracies and censorship. Coherent rebuttals aren't exactly her strong suit. Gutfeld and Kelly don't engage in a brawl. They execute a clean, intellectual takedown. Rosie may brand herself as a cultural compass, but once the noise dies down, it's clear she's just a relic yelling into the algorithm. Watching her bluster crumble under their critique is like seeing a sandcastle swallowed by the tide, chaotic, inevitable, and oddly gratifying.
Oh my God. I'm so grossed out, Emily. You have to talk. I can't.
You're grossed out, but you're not sorry. You're just forced up.
Why should I be the only one who suffers? You all have to stop to suffer. We're in it together.
Guys, I saw it trending and I was like, oh, I can't click on this. I can't. And you know what? Actually, though, I think by watching it, it's just such an example of how bad the writing is on that show. Like the writing on some of these shows, it's like they put it into like progressive chat GPT and come up with just like the worst dialogue. It's so bad.
Rosie O'Donnell's career is the epitome of a cautionary tale. Proof that raw talent can only take you so far when it's paired with bridge-burning, performative outrage and headline-chasing theatrics. What could have been a legacy in media has spiraled into a blooper reel of public meltdowns so over the top, even reality TV producers would say, too much drama, not enough plot. Her dip into political commentary only adds fuel to the chaos. It's less insightful analysis and more like a conspiracy theorist hopped up on caffeine, launching wild claims with all the aim of a toddler flinging finger paint. There's no strategy, no follow-through, just noise. And instead of recalibrating, Rosie doubles down, proudly standing in the mess like it's modern art. She likes to think of herself as a champion of the people, but Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly offer a harsher, and arguably more accurate, portrait. A woman lost in her own echo chamber, shouting for applause that never comes. Their takedown doesn't just roast Rosie, it deconstructs the myth she built around herself, exposing the emptiness behind the volume and the bravado.
Rosie O'Donnell, I think he's made that very clear.
Since Eliana refuses to play, Emily, I've got another soundbite for you.
I didn't even know Sex in the City was back on the air. I saw it when you were
happening. You have to react live to the herpes. I'm sorry.
And I was like, oh, you know what? The culture stuff, that's Emily's ballywick anyway.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's another beauty. This is Rosie in another scene singing to Miranda. Enjoy.
Because I knew you. Because I knew you. I have been changed for good. That's from Wicked. I take yours.
If Rosie O'Donnell's legacy stands for anything, it's a masterclass in how not to handle fame. From her overhyped daytime TV diva era to her social media meltdowns and political misfires, she's morphed into a walking caution sign that basically screams, this is what happens when self-importance outpaces self-awareness. Enter Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly, sharp, composed, and delightfully ruthless. They don't just respond to Rosie's chaos, they slice through it with surgical precision and just the right dose of wit. Whenever Rosie hijacks the discourse with another outburst or ego-fueled rant, you can bet Greg and Megyn are already crafting their next dismantling, not out of spite, but as a public service. That's the real appeal, watching the cool logic of seasoned commentators collide with Rosie's theatrical bluster. Spoiler alert, logic doesn't just win, it obliterates. Rosie may technically be a legend, but let's be honest, she's become the kind people mock more than admire. A reliable punchline in the cultural conversation. And Greg and Megyn's takedown, it's not just entertaining, it's a brutally effective reminder of what happens when ego drowns out relevance, and volume substitutes for value.
Rosie O'Donnell ditching the U.S. for Ireland in the wake of Trump's victory, and the president is responding. Watch it.
You know, you have Rosie O'Donnell. Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is? Yeah. You're better off not knowing.
Wow, hardest hit, not even knowing who she is. That one's got hurt. But she did prove that self-deportation can work, right?
Yeah, they'll find out soon enough when she gets there and eats them out of house and home. You know, I have this idea, and I'm going to give it to Fox Nation because that's the kind of person I am. You know the VH specials, Where Are They Now? Yeah. They need to do Where Are They Now for political moments. The legendary debate, Trump, Megyn Kelly, Rosie O. Where are they? So you have, like, where did they, like, one catapulted to the presidency, one went to NBC and then to podcast stardom, and the other one went to the land of the potato.
If Rosie O'Donnell has mastered anything beyond shouting into the void, it's the uncanny talent for turning every platform she touches into an unintentional comedy spectacle. After decades in the spotlight, you'd think she'd grasp the difference between being outspoken and just plain exhausting. But nope. Rosie barrels ahead like a freight train loaded with bad takes and outdated pop culture throwbacks. That's classic Rosie. A lightning rod for controversy, conjuring drama. Faster than most people can order a latte. Her latest crusades against anyone daring to disagree are so wildly overblown, they make you nostalgic for the days when celebrity scandals at least had a hint of decorum. To Rosie, every disagreement is a personal attack, a betrayal, a full-on existential crisis wrapped in melodrama and begging for the spotlight. Unsurprisingly, her Twitter rants turn social media into a chaotic battlefield. Thankfully, Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly are always on standby with surgical precision. Greg's smirk says it all. Did you seriously just say that? While Megyn's calm, razor-sharp sarcasm cuts through the noise like a scalpel. Together, they make the perfect duo to slice apart the chaos of Rosie's endless theatrics with wit and style.
Rosie is so outspoken. Imagine the horror in being a Democrat, like maybe a normal Democrat, like an old, blue dog Democrat, Eliana, and having one of the people most associated with your brand out there pointing to some huge growth right underneath her nose, saying it might be a pimple or it's a herpes, and then delivering an update, it's a herpes. I have herpes. Look at my herpes virus. It was caused by Donald Trump, and then asking us to picture her in bed with a vibrator and Cynthia Nixon. And then they're like, why can't we get young men on Team Blue?
Here's the thing about Rosie O'Donnell. She loves to cast herself as society's moral compass, the last defender of truth and justice in a world gone mad. But look a little closer, and it's mostly smoke and mirrors. A woman desperately clinging to relevance by throwing tantrums louder than any reality TV meltdown. It's like watching a toddler scream that the sky is falling because someone took her favorite toy. Except the toy here is public attention. And Rosie, she's more than willing to shout into the void forever to keep it. Enter Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly, delivering roasts that aren't just funny, they're absolutely necessary. Because if Rosie were left unchecked, she'd probably have us convinced her latest Twitter tirade is the intellectual equivalent of a Nobel Prize lecture. Instead, what we get is a spectacle of self-indulgence and a masterclass in missing the point entirely. Her political commentary? Picture a drunken uncle at a family barbecue attempting to explain quantum physics, passionate but painfully clueless. Rosie's takes often feel less like thoughtful analysis and more like a random hashtag frenzy, desperately trying to sound woke. But Greg and Megyn slice through the noise with sharp humor, exposing the huge gap between Rosie's self-image and the reality that most people just want to mute her. Then there are Rosie's social media crusades, which are something else entirely. She treats Twitter like her personal battlefield, launching verbal grenades with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. She swings wildly at celebrities and strangers alike, with an intensity that suggests she's compensating for something. Meanwhile, the rest of us duck and cover, wondering how someone can have so much time and so little filter. At the end of the day, Rosie O'Donnell's legacy isn't just about her entertainment career or political misfires. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when ego and outrage run wild. Greg and Megyn's roasts remind us that fame without self-awareness is a dangerous combo, and sometimes the best response to a loud, blustering figure is humor served with a heavy dose of truth. So, while Rosie yells into the internet abyss, somewhere in a studio, Greg and Megyn are sharpening their next verbal scalpel, proving sarcasm is often the only sane reply to celebrity chaos. In the world of media meltdowns, Rosie O'Donnell might be the star nobody asked for, but the one everyone loves to roast. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way.